See? The rabbit I have caught.
You didn't catch it, I caught it.
The boy caught the rabbit. The soldier caught the boy, no?
Well, whoever caught it, who gets it?
Oh, either way, you get it, I think.
Who says? I might sold it to the hotel.
Well, how much they give you there?
2 marks.
4 marks, I give you.
That's only 8 and 6.
Now just stop that, Jamie. Heinrich, there's no need.
No, but it's fair. They would give him more at the hotel.
And you would have got it for your supper.
What, 1 rabbit amongst 12 soldiers? It's better that you have the rabbit.
Well, that's very generous.
Ah, but I have more.
It's tea.
It's not much.
Oh, Heinrich.
And for you...
Straw.
I have not seen it. I did not give it you.
Thanks.
Now, take it and gut it, eh?
Sure, Heinrich.
Yeah, buzz off then.
Sit down.
The Scottish uniform. It is very strange, I think.
It's very becoming, I think.
Becoming.
Good looking.
For the skirt, it is good to have the knees.
Kilt, not skirt. And yes, you must have the knees.
That is some memento.
'Tis for good luck. Comes from Edinburgh. The year before the war.
Yes, well, it has brought him luck. It is luckier to be a prisoner and alive than dead. I should wish rather to be so.
How will they treat him, Heinrich?
Ah, you should not worry. He's a soldier. They will treat him well. For him, there is no more fighting. As I said, it has brought him luck.
Heinrich.
Yes.
Just Heinrich.
I have to go.
Stay. I'm making some soup.
Now, today there's much doing by the book. Spit and something.
Spit and polish.
Spit and polish. So I must return to my billet at the hotel.
Is there something special happening?
Yes, sure. The big brass are coming. Auf Wiedersehen.
Good morning, gentlemen. The Commandant, Oberst Richter, Oberst Lieutenant Kerner of the Air Signals Experimental Regiment.
Good morning. Feldkommandant Major Freidel.
Herr Oberstleutnant?
Sturmführer Reinecker.
Oberstleutnant? Gentlemen?
And I think you know most of the others, Kerner?
Yes, of course. Frick. Strasser, Diels, good morning.
Sure, sir.
Major?
Kapitän Leutnant Bass.
Captain Lieutenant.
Will you all please be seated, gentlemen? You are no doubt aware that I've called this meeting as an introduction to our tour of inspection on Sark. You all know something of the tactical dispositions which have been made recently on these islands. Since these are now operational, I think the time has come to understand the wider military strategy. Oberst Lieutenant Kerner is here to help us in this regard. Kerner.
Thank you, Herr General. We are concerned, gentlemen, essentially with war in the air. The tactical dispositions to which the Herr General referred aim at promoting our own efficiency in this sphere to the frustration of the enemy's efforts. In the early stages of war in the air, offensive was principally a daylight matter. Navigation and target recognition was simple. Trouble was, if the bomber could see the target, the fighter could see the bomber. Neither the British nor we could continue to accept the casualty rate to bomber forces, which is why bomber offensives, both for them and for us, are now largely conducted at night. The loss of direct visual recognition being compensated for by radio direction finding techniques. We know that the British have also developed electronic navigational aids, theoretically similar to our own. But inevitably, of course, fighter defences on both sides have perfected their own methods of coping with night bombing. In our case, the twin-engined night fighter vectored in by ground-controlled interception. You will know that Reich Marshal Goering appointed General Kammhuber to command our night fighters, which resulted in the fighter defense system known as the Kammhuber Line. General Kammhuber's plan was to create a night fighter zone right across the British bomber axis to Germany. From up here, just north of Kiel, down to here, on the Swiss border. The zone is divided into a continuous line of boxes, each 30 kilometers square. Each box is, in effect, a complete defense system, equipped with radio detectors, ground control, and fighter aircraft. The box is codenamed Himmel Bet. Now, in order to extend our night fighter system westwards, and thus seal off the coast of France from all bomber bases in the south of England, General Kammhuber has incorporated the Channel Islands into a defensive zone, served by Freya, early warning detectors, at Cap de la Hague and 100 miles southwest at Lannion here. Now, as you can see, the line connecting them passes through these islands very conveniently, which is why we have set up a Würzburg ground control interception station here on Sark.
Oberstleutnant, is it permitted to ask a question?
Of course, Sturmbannführer.
Earlier this year, there was a British commando raid on the Normandy coast. I understand that some of our most secret detection equipment was dismantled and removed.
The Brunwald raid near La Havre in February. What is your question, Sturmbannführer?
If the French coast is vulnerable to such attack, Herr General, is the risk on Sark not even greater?
No, Reinecker, it is not. At Brunwald, the British dropped a company of paratroops from a dozen bombers and took them off afterwards in assault craft. We had only 2 platoons of the 685th Infantry, plus some communications personnel to oppose them. We were taken completely by surprise, and our reinforcements did not arrive until the raid was in its closing stages. On Sark, yes, we have only a small guard, but within immediate call, total air and sea command. The circumstances are not parallel. Colonel.
I've no doubt you will find this afternoon's tour of interest, gentlemen, and I hope that tonight we may have an opportunity of demonstrating ground control interception in action for you. Thank you.
Most interesting, Colonel, most interesting. A bit complicated for us simple infantrymen, eh, Richter?
Just a bit, yes, sir.
Well, help yourselves, gentlemen, and then we'll get off. Hello, Decar. It's Crow here.
Castle! Yes, Feldwebel.
You're in company orders. For a strike.
Oh, me, Feldwebel.
You're a good soldier, Kessel. You've earned it. Get your chevron from the orderly office and put it up straight away.
Today, Feldwebel.
Today. Now. Wait. There's a report from Crow Harbour. Fishing boat. Guernsey registration. Sailing southwestward. Send someone to make sure she clears the area before the brass get here.
I'll go myself, Feldwebel. Righto, chaps. Gather round.
This is Decar Bay, here. And at Pointy Chateau, here, is a landing place. Not much used by anybody because at low tide it dries out. Now there are some steps leading from it to the Hog's Back, this headland. A quarter of a mile due north is our objective, here.
Beg your pardon, sir. Don't look north to me.
Why not?
Perhaps the charts are the wrong way.
I do know which direction they're going. Bombardier, sir, would you kindly remove your rotten grenades?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Thank you. Now, perhaps we can get on. Our objective, T for target, is a high-frequency precision aircraft detector, codenamed by the Germans Würzburg. It's shaped like a damn great ball fire. It's situated near the top of this 200-foot hill among gorse bushes and scrub. Equidistant in a westerly direction is the Decar Hotel, where the Germans have billeted their troops. Beyond the hotel, further up the valley, is the diesel generator. Now you, Sergeant, are to take Jones and Carter, a Tommy gun and one of the Brens, and put the generator out of action. You will then fall back to the lane here, running past the hotel, and cover our line of retreat.
Sir.
Well, here we are. 2 hours to high water. Right, now, Bombardier. I want you to stay in the lane while Jones fixes the power supply. When we fall back on the boat tonight, you will cover number 1 Bren's retreat. Okay?
Sir.
Your tail end, Charlie.
Oh, thanks very much.
Number 2 Bren, under Mr. Rivers, with Hoskins and Lake, will cover the cliff-top path from the La Coupe Road. Now, if we get into trouble tonight, the dismantling party and Flight Sergeant Gibbs will fall back first, followed by Sergeant Peters and number 1 Bren, who will cover their embarkation. Number 2 Bren will stay in position and signal the destroyer. Corporal Cameron will fall back after Sergeant Peters and remain with number 2 Bren until the dismantling party is back on board. I will go with the dismantling party. The trickiest bit is landing before it's dark, but the Navy must have maximum hours of darkness to pick us up and get us back to the other side, so it can't be helped. High water will float us right up close, and LePage will go first and mark our card.
He's dressed in civvies, sir.
How else, Hoskins?
Just sooner him than me if he gets caught.
If he gets caught, we're all in the bag. So save your sympathy for yourself.
We had something like 20 minutes at Grunewald to get what we come for. So we had to use these. If possible this time, I'd like to use a little more science and less brute force. The more undamaged the stuff is when we get back, the more sense of boffins we'll be able to make of it.
Why did you only have 20 minutes?
The entire operation, from forming up on the ground to being taken off the beach, was 2 hours, of which we reckon to have half an hour dismantling the equipment. In the event, we had much less because Jerry started to move in strength. We were lucky to get what we did.
Well, I hope this time you'll have longer. If the balloon goes up, it'll be about the same. So stealth is the watchword. The longer we can preserve the element of surprise, the better. Photo reconnaissance indicates a small garrison, 20 or 30 men. We can cope with them after we've got what we've come for, if we have to. But if we stir them up before, the chances of getting anything useful are slim. There are quieter ways of putting somebody out of action than loosing off rounds of 303 all over the place. Understand?
So,
Yes, Bombardier.
won't it give the game away when we do the generator?
We're bound to interfere with the electricity supply anyway, when we dismantle the Würzburg. So if we put the generator out of action first, it should draw their attention away. And Jones is going to fix it so it doesn't look like sabotage.
Oh, yes, sir. Just give me 10 minutes. It'll take them a month of Sundays to find what's gone wrong.
And of course, they won't be able to use their wireless transmitter to summon help from their Luftwaffe pals on Guernsey.
Is it some particular piece of equipment you're after, Flight? Or just anything?
Jerry's knocking the hell out of our bomber formations. Now, the boffins think he must have developed some kind of spinning dipole to give him more accurate direction finding. So we're after the Würzburg aerial assembly and the presentation unit.
Right, let's go through the timetable.
Morning.
Who are you?
LePage. Eric LePage from St. Peter Port.
You must know it's forbidden to land. Where's your guard?
Fritz! We got a spot of rudder trouble, see?
It didn't seem so. I was watching you.
One of the steering shackles is cracked. It'll come apart if I don't do something about it.
You can mend it?
If I can get some wire.
If you can. How long?
Oh, not long. I'd have to see.
You're due back when?
1 hour before curfew, Gefreiter.
You wish a signal to be sent?
No! I can mend it.
Very well. But stay clear of Crow Harbor.
Right.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen.
I'll scrape the skin and dry it and make some gloves. Jamie, you're supposed to be helping clear Simmons Field.
Yes, all right, in a minute.
Not in a minute, now.
Now it's gone. Should think it was London, probably.
French station, more like.
Well, something anyway.
Hang it in the wash house to dry a bit. Jamie. Take care.
What of?
Anything. There's a war on, remember?
So, there has been for the last 2 years.
But something special's happening today.
What?
I don't know, something special. A lot of important Germans coming. Heinrich said so. So you watch out and keep out of trouble. If you can.
signal. Move.
Jamie. Heinrich. What is it? Heinrich, you've got a stripe.
Promoted I have been.
You're a Lance Corporal.
A Gefreiter, yes.
Well, isn't that good?
I think so, yes.
Oh, I wish I had something we could celebrate with.
Ah. We shall celebrate, you see.
Just as well it's only one stripe.
Cheers?
Goodness, I'd forgotten how strong it was.
Some water, perhaps?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. It is enough. So, I think.
Hallo, die car? Die car.
Driver! 10 people! Down to the harbour. Good. Good. Hey.
Okay. Throw out your ground sheets. We're stuck here till evening. Get your heads down. Get some rest.
Herr General?
Hauptmann?
Herr Oberst? Would you come this way, please, sir?
bloody silly thing to do, wasn't it?
I didn't expect anyone to be there. I'm sorry.
Don't people use this lane no more then?
Not much, not these days.
I should hope not. What were you doing anyway?
Chucking hand grenades.
Who at?
Jerry, of course. Haven't seen you before.
From Guernsey, fishing. And a spot of boat trouble. You live around here then?
Couple of 100 yards.
With your dad?
Your mum. Your dad's in the army. Got captured at Tobruk.
Sorry to hear it. You won't like Jerry very much then.
They're all right.
But you wouldn't like to win the war though, would you?
Of course not. Well, I got to help clear a field.
Hang on a minute. Say a raft pilot would have bailed out, land down here.
You're a pilot?
No, of course not. But if I was, what would you do?
Well, hide you, till I could get you away.
How old are you, son?
18. Give or take a few months.
Yeah, you bet.
Why, anyway?
What's your name?
Jamie. Jamie Robertson.
Well, Jamie, some things I'd like to ask you.
Sir?
Complications, sir.
What?
I've talked to a local boy, a good lad. He says there are 25 Germans, guards and technicians in the immediate vicinity. Can I see the map, sir? There's a medium machine gun in Crow Harbour. Now, we've seen that. There's a flak emplacement on Little Sark here. 3.7 centimetre, it sounds like. Plus, a 60 centimetre searchlight mounting.
Bugger, that could screw us on the way out.
It was under netting, so he never showed in the photographs. Now, there's nothing else this side of a fixed nature.
Well, what about mines?
Well, the lad says Jerry's put signs up, but he thinks it's a bluff and there aren't any.
Why does he think that?
Because no animals have been killed.
Oh, that's something, I suppose. What's the complication?
There's some more Germans due to arrive today.
How many?
He doesn't know. All he's heard is there are some important Germans visiting Sark this afternoon.
Well, that is nice.
Never did much fancy out-of-season holidays.
This, gentlemen, is the operations room, the centre of the hive, as it were. You will see that we are approximately 2/3 underground. Over there sits the ground controller in contact with the night fighters. On that glass is the planned area of the Himmelbett box in which we fall, known as Westerland Sector. The positions of all aircraft are charted according to information received from the Freya early warning units at Cap de la Hague or landing. Oberfunker. Herr West. Switch on the tracking lights. If you will follow me, please. Red for the bomber, green for us. As the red light gets nearer, the Freya installation hands over course and range to the Würzburg, which you saw outside and which gives us altitude. Then the ground controller up here orders the night fighters to take off and orbit the sector radio beacon until he vectors them in for the attack. At that point, the red light and the green will almost coincide.
I look forward to seeing it in action, Colonel.
I hope that this evening, General, we may be able to show you some sport.
Right, Sergeant. Stevens. Sir, come on, you lads. Cameron. Come on, you two.
What a lovely dream that was. You had a ride on the camp bicycle, did you?
Shut it,
All
will
the
ya?
way to Banbury Croft.
I said shut it.
That's better. Now, first things first. Tot all round, I think, Sergeant.
Right, sir. We must do this more often.
Jock, you don't touch the stuff, Sarge. I'll have it.
I'll certainly have your stuff. Right, lads. The Navy's pride and joy. One swig only.
Wrong service, isn't we?
Now, listen, everybody. We're going out of here in a couple of minutes. We've been over the plan of attack, and you all know what you're supposed to be doing, where and when. Now, the return. 2 hours after the operation commences, we shall start to fall back here. Flight Sergeant Gibbs and his party first, Bombardier Cameron and number 2 Bren section last. You all know why you're here. The absolute priority is to get Flight here safely back home with his bits and pieces. Check your watches, all of you. I've got 2028.
Westerland Control from Captain Lahart.
Receiving you, Captain Lahart. Over.
Enemy aircraft 040 West, 4930 North, map square 21, Verta sector, bearing 005.
Victor Captain
Let's see if they're plotted. Oh, yes, Verta sector. That's the next box up.
Bearing 115. Stuttgart's turn tonight.
Or Frankfurt, if they turn north.
We are not affected?
No, Herr General. We receive neighboring sectors' information so that we can judge how an attack is developing.
Westerland Control from Captain Lahart.
Receiving you, Captain Lahart. Over.
Verta sector 60 to 70 couriers, Hanny 70, bearing 090, speed 350 kilometers per hour.
Victor Captain Lahart.
Couriers? Enemy bombers, sir. About 7,000 meters up.
Let's hope Verta sector doesn't get all the action tonight.
Is this the system the enemy employs?
In essence, yes. Their incoming information is obtained by similar electronic methods. It differs in the manner in which it is displayed.
In what way?
Well, they use a grid map too, but the positions of aircraft are marked by movable indicators.
Much less sophisticated.
Yes, but it is more adapted to a wider tactical appreciation.
Whilst ours shows a local picture.
That is correct, Major. The Himmelbett box system is geared specifically to ground-controlled interception of enemy aircraft.
Very impressive.
I hope that later we shall be able to show you just how impressive it is.
Right, Sergeant. 15 minutes to deadline.
Right. We'll fix the generator first, then fall back to the hotel.
Roger. We'll take up a position on La Coupe Road. Good luck.
Right. Come on.
Major Frick tells me the enemy can jam us if they know the frequencies.
That is so, Herr General. He can jam on the Freya frequencies, but not on the Würzburg.
Where's the difference?
The Freya transmits on 118 to 128 megacycles, whereas the Würzburg operates at the very high frequency of 570 megacycles. The enemy would not be able to generate enough energy to swamp its echo signal.
Westerland Control from Captain Lahart.
Receiving you, Captain Lahart. Over.
Enemy aircraft bearing 310, Beaver sector approaching Westerland sector, map square G2, G5.
Victor Captain Lahart. Over.
One on his own. Lost his way. On his way home.
And straight into your net, eh, Kerner?
We hope so, sir.
Met report, please.
Luftwaffe Guernsey from SAR Control. Over.
Receiving you, SAR Control. Over.
Sector Met, please. Over.
Verta Beaver Westerland as at 1800 hours. Pressure 1016 millibars. Wind from 180 to 200 degrees, veering southwest. Light cirrus 54 to 5500 meters. Wind speed 13 to 26 kph.
Right, Jock. We'll go and put the lights out. Come on.
Luft at the Guernsey from SAR Control, over.
Receiving you, SAR Control, over.
Interceptor to orbit beacon, over.
Victor, SAR Control. Interceptor call sign Argus 4. Out.
Argus 4? Hauptmann Gunther, one of the very best.
That's what we've come for. Your famous Würzburg. 5 minutes, and take it to bits.
What's the matter, Jamie? Jamie!
What?
Why are you so restless?
I'm not.
Argus 4 from Westerland. Come in, please. Over. Argus 4 from Westerland. You're breaking up. Turn down your amplifier, please. Over. Argus 4 from Westerland. Go to Hanny 70. Fly on course 35 degrees. Repeat, 35 degrees. Over.
Seems that your man will get away. Does this often happen?
No, Herr General. This is the first time. If you will excuse us, Herr General.
Yes, of course.
Ground control to DCAR, over.
Receiving you, ground control, over.
We have a power fault, over.
Power has gone here too. The generator is being checked. We'll report, over.
Thank you, DCAR. Out.
Well, gentlemen, it looks like dinner by candlelight.
I've been treasuring that. What is it, Jamie? You've been up to something, haven't you?
What do you mean?
The lights. It's you, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
I don't believe you, Jamie. You've done something, I know it.
It does spin. The boffins are right. My God, it's a solid piece of engineering.
Quiet, isn't it? Shut up.
Hey, sir. Gonna have to with a quick drag. Start your growth, Hoskins. Well, I don't mind losing the odd inch, sir. You can lose several when we get back off this.
What is this thing? Presentation unit. If we can get that off as well, we've got what we came for.
If?
I'd like to get it off intact if possible.
Every minute is pushing our luck.
Can you give me 5 more?
You're the boss.
Can you shine the torch in?
sir. All right if I go splash my boots?
All right, Hoskins.
Blake! Castle!
Jamie! Jamie! Jamie, come back!
Let's put the kettle on the pigeons.
They won't be able to carry on, will they, Sarge?
Not if they've got any bloody sense, they won't. Come on, you better pull back and give them closer cover.
Who are you? Jamie!
There is, Mummy.
One's badly hurt.
I'm sorry, madam. We'll be out of here in just a moment.
I'll get a basin and some hot water. Jamie, get that towel.
We'll have you as good as new, late. Don't worry.
No, give me the dressing.
Thank you, Mrs.
Don't do it again.
We're very grateful, madam. And to your son. We'll go now.
But where?
Decart Bay, madam.
Ah, children. I thought it might be.
All right. You two get back to the cottage. Go on, Flight.
Why did you shoot him? Jamie, get me the cushion. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You'll be all right, Heinrich.
What the hell was that?
A mine, I think, over towards the Cooper.
God, I hope it wasn't any of River's lot.
And a burst of machine gun fire not far off.
They'll be all around here in 10 minutes.
We can deal with them, sir.
No. Once they know we're here, they'll pin us down. They'll look for the boat. We'd never get off the island. We've got to mislead them somehow.
Hoskins trod on a mine, and I shot a German.
Rotten luck. Well, we've got what we came for. Gibbs and the rest of the party are back at the cottage. Unfortunately, we've now got a hell of a wait, and the Germans will be looking for us. Well, we'll just have to let him find us. If we give them Crow Harbour to think about, it'll take the heat off where our boat is. It can't be all of us. Somebody will have to stay and look after Gibbs and the stuff. I want 3 volunteers for a decoy exercise. It'll mean imprisonment at best, I'm afraid.
I'd like to do it, sir.
Are you sure, John?
Yes. I'd like to.
All right. Good man.
I'll go, sir.
No, sorry, I need you.
Oh, I came for the scrap anyway, sir.
Good.
Well, I can... I... And me.
Thank you. Now, I want you to move across this high ground towards Harbour Hill, making your presence known. Find yourselves some good defensive positions, as close to the harbour as possible, till first light if you can. It shouldn't be too difficult, because once they know you're there, they'll be certain to wait till daylight themselves. Right?
Yes, sir.
Dinner on me at the Savoy, after we've won the war. Off you go.
Good luck, sir. Good luck, lads.
Back to the cottage, you three. I'll signal the Navy.
I imagine the bomber has returned safely to his own shores, unaware of his good fortune.
It's highly regrettable.
War is full of regrets, Reinecker. It's the nature of the thing.
Ground control to DCAR, over.
Receiving you, ground control. Over.
A situation report, please. Over.
Reports indicate damage to generator deliberate. Electricians unable to restore power until daybreak. Over.
Sabotage.
Automatic weapon firing reported from above Crow Harbour. Troops are being deployed. Will report. Out.
Could be a raid. They've done it before.
Kerner! Did you hear firing from the harbour?
Yes, sir.
What the hell is going on?
I thought the Würzburg might have overloaded the circuit.
No, the generator has been tampered with.
It's not the only thing.
What?
The Würzburg has been dismantled. Completely stripped.
So it is a raid, Herr General. They must be stopped.
They will be, Reinecker.
They don't know where we are. Let's tell them.
Ground control from DCAR. Over.
Receiving you. Over.
Enemy reported pinned down above harbour. Further action will be taken after daybreak. Out.
Excellent. Well, Kerner, it looks as though your Würzburg will get its bits back.
Surrender yourself. You have no chance. Come down. Leave your weapons. Place your hands on your head. Halt!
The officer. Lower your hands, please. Approach.
Double 06457, Rivers, Second Lieutenant, Royal Army Service Corps.
Where are the rest of your men, Lieutenant?
You see them, sir.
I see two only. Where are the others?
I should think back in England by now, sir.
Yes?
A signal, Herr Sturmbannführer, from General Müller.
Why is this envelope not sealed?
Herr Sturmbannführer.
I expect an answer, Oberfunker, not another question. Who is the duty signals officer?
Lieutenant Wolf, Herr Sturmbannführer.
Ask Lieutenant Wolf to come and see me, Oberfunker, immediately.
Peter, that is marvellous.
And?
Fish! Oh,
Gallienne caught them this morning.
Gallienne.
Yes, he's a fisherman who works for me now and again, when they won't let him go out. Oh, I've also got these, if they're any use.
Oh, eggs.
I'll try and bring some more greens later on in the week.
Good. And anything else? Turnip sweets, anything?
Well, I'll see what I can do.
You do not forget Thursday evening.
Oh, no. No, are the Martells coming?
I hope so. I haven't paid you.
Oh, don't worry. We'll settle up next time.
She doesn't like me to serve in the tea rooms, except when it suits her. I can do the dusting and cleaning and the washing up, all the dirty work. But I'm not good enough for the customers.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Marjorie. You know it's not like that.
Oh?
Well, of course it isn't.
Oh, I suppose you have to side with her.
It doesn't matter of taking sides, for heaven's sake. I mean, it's tiring work standing about downstairs all day.
Oh, is that it?
Well, you used to say so yourself often enough before Herta came.
I suppose being a skivvy isn't tiring.
Well, you're not a skivvy, Marjorie. That's quite unfair. You don't have to do anything at all if you'd rather not, and you know that perfectly well. And we're not as young as Herta. Why not let her get on with it? In any case, the tea rooms aren't all that busy these days. Hardly enough work for two. I mean, she does as much as she can so as to make life easy.
For you, perhaps.
For both of us.
It's funny how I can serve when she wants me out of the way for her precious music, isn't it? It's not too tiring for me then.
Oh, I do wish you'd stop this ridiculous jealousy, Marjorie.
Jealousy?
Look, like it or not, Herta's my wife, and this is as much her home now as it is yours.
This envelope was not sealed, Lieutenant.
What about the envelope containing the signal, Herr Sturmbannführer?
That is not the point.
With respect, I do not think any harm has been done.
You don't?
No.
You are aware of the regulations?
Of course. The envelope should have been sealed, I accept that. But it's not as if the message had to pass through many hands.
It is marked secret.
Yes, I realize that.
Such signals must be sealed in envelopes so marked.
Which it was.
And then sealed in a second envelope for the eyes of the addressee only.
Sturmbannführer?
You aware of the contents of the signal?
Of course.
Then you must be singularly lacking in imagination. Do you not understand that if the contents of that signal became known to the islanders at this moment, it would be a matter of acute embarrassment to Berlin?
That is hardly likely.
Hardly likely is not good enough! As duty officer, you are responsible for the conduct of your unit. The correct procedures must be carried out. This envelope should have been sealed. This is not the first time that you have shown neglect in the discharge of your duties, Wolf. Your position is one of great responsibility. You are one of the few officers with access to information of the most confidential nature. I expect a more responsible attitude.
He did say about 4.
Yes, I know. I don't expect he'll be long. Well, you don't want to shiver in the waiting room. It's much warmer in here.
Thank you.
How's Herta?
Fine. She has a new student. She's enjoying that very much.
Anybody we know?
No, but you'll meet him on Thursday. He's, well, he's one of the garrison, as a matter of fact.
A German soldier?
Yes. Excellent musician, though, first rate.
Well, Herta will be in her element, won't she?
Oh, she is.
It's the man's attitude that I deplore, Herr Oberst. His refusal to acknowledge his responsibilities.
Well, the signal, you say, was properly sealed?
Yes.
And I take it he did not issue instructions that the envelope should be left open?
No.
Oh, then he is merely technically responsible for this particular error.
That in no way minimises the risks involved, Herr Oberst. In his job, he has access to information of the most confidential nature.
All right, I will speak to him.
If he is as careless with his tongue...
Heinecke, I said I will speak to him.
I am concerned, Herr Oberst, with the security risk. The islanders must not learn of the Führer's instructions until all arrangements are complete.
Lieutenant Wolf may have been careless on this occasion, but I would hardly describe him as a security risk.
Perhaps you are not aware, Herr Oberst, that he spends much of his free time with civilians. Islanders. His conduct is not reassuring, Oberst.
Thanks, Oliver. Right, let's have a look.
Shall I go?
No need. You don't mind, do you?
Of course not.
It's so difficult keeping a fire burning in the waiting room. I hate wasting the wood.
Well, it's not important, Olive, truly.
Is Herta well?
On top of the world.
Well, that takes a bit of doing these days. Does that irritate?
A bit, especially at night.
When you're warm in bed, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, well, as you say, it looks like an ordinary skin rash. Could be an allergy, clothes, soap, food. It's hard to say. You may have to give them all up.
Marjorie's always telling me that Herta doesn't feed us properly.
Oh, Lord, like that, is it?
Gets worse, I think.
Well, I'll give you some calamine. That should cool it down, if nothing else.
Thanks.
I could suggest you restrict your intake of alcohol, but that's easier done than said.
Well, it's the absence of it that's giving me a rash. Now, I'm afraid Marjorie is getting just like Mother did.
In what way?
Oh, you know, crabby, petulant.
Well, she must have felt put out, Bill, when you married Herta.
It's 4 years ago, though, Olive. She should have got over it by now. Mother was just the same. No one could ever do right.
Difficult old lady, I remember.
Turned the whole family against you now in the end. I'm sorry to say Marjorie's doing the self-same thing. Hardly a friend left. Oof, we do what we can, but there's a limit.
Perhaps I should take a look at her.
She wouldn't thank you.
Well, they never really got on, did they, Marjorie and Herta?
I'm afraid they haven't.
I expect poor Marjorie got so used to looking after you.
Let me know if you have any difficulty getting it.
Thanks.
I'll send you the bill. Come back and see me in a couple of weeks. It doesn't get any better.
Right. Oh, thank you. The truth is, I think Marjorie feels pushed out. I made the tea rooms over to Herta, you see. Sure, that's what's behind it. But frankly, there didn't seem much future in the place at the time, and Herta needed something to do. Oh, well. See you Thursday.
Oh, yes. Looking forward to it.
Some coffee, please.
I'm not sure that we've any left.
Perhaps you would inquire.
Yes,
Good.
it'll take a little while.
Of course. Who is the pianist?
My sister-in-law gives lessons.
Ah. So it is the pupil.
He's better than she is.
I thought I heard the bell.
There's no need for you to come down. You knew I was here.
I thought you might have gone out.
I'll see to your coffee.
Thank you. You have a good pupil.
Yes, isn't he? He's almost good enough to teach me.
I'm not sure about his choice of music.
Oh?
Lieder ohne Worte? Mendelssohn.
The composer could hardly help his birth.
Jewish music is invariably sentimental.
That is a matter of opinion. And I'm much more interested in my students' technique than in their taste.
Even when it is decadent?
I was born a German and I still love my country, but I'm not much interested in the politics of your Führer.
Mendelssohn wrote piano music. I'm a piano teacher. It's this.
I must go, Herta. Thank you.
Oh, there was no need.
I had no idea you were a pianist, Lieutenant.
Anonymous, you say?
Yes.
All the same, we can't ignore it.
It will mean closing the tea rooms while we investigate.
Was that a problem?
It's one of the few places that continue to serve meals to working men, Herr Major. It's also a special use to single men who have not the time to queue at food shops.
Well, if there's no other way of proving or disproving the charges, you'll have to close.
I just thought I'd mention it first.
Yes, thank you. Oh, the allegation that the owner of the cafe is involved with a German soldier in black market activities, I assume the soldier has not been named.
No, Herr Major.
And you've no idea what he's supposed to be supplying?
None.
Oh, I dislike anonymous letters over, Lieutenant, intensely. Let me know if you have to close it, and then I shall discuss with the controlling committee the possibility of alternative soup kitchen arrangements.
Very good, Herr Major.
And thank you for the warning.
I repeat, Lieutenant, what I heard yesterday was not well advised.
Berlin cannot change the quality of music, Herr Major, by objecting to the origins of its composer.
I would tread warily, Lieutenant.
I sometimes question the sanity of our leaders in the still of the night.
Would you repeat that, Lieutenant? Repeat it! I must tell you that I am gravely dissatisfied with you, Lieutenant. And I would recommend that you consider very carefully your attitude.
How's your mother, Peter?
Oh, busy. Organising everybody. Everything.
Mustn't let her do too much.
Well, how do you stop people doing too much?
I went to see Claire yesterday.
How is she?
Well, she seems quite well. Nuns are giving her a lot to do, helping with the young children and the old people.
When's she going to be able to come home?
Oh, she'll have to stay for quite a while yet.
When will I be able to go and see her? You'd rather I didn't?
Oh, no, it's not that, Peter.
Well, she doesn't want to see me.
It is not that, Peter. She still isn't ready to see anybody yet. Not me, only her mother.
I see.
Really, I wish I did.
Well, it's just a matter of time.
Well, she's just another casualty of war, Peter, like the rest of us. One day we'll be able to look back at it all and wonder what it was all about, I suppose. In the meantime, we have the Cliffords' musical evening, as if things weren't bad enough.
Oh, come on. You might actually enjoy it.
And that would never do.
I was simply expressing an opinion, Herr Oberst, on a matter about which I think Sturmbannführer Reinecker is ignorant.
Your outburst was at best insubordinate. Sturmbannführer Reinecker is a member of the Waffen-SS. Not a man to whom you make impulsive, politically naive and emotional gestures.
Herr Oberst?
Did you have to play Mendelssohn?
He was a 19th century romantic, Herr Major. How could anything he wrote have any possible relevance to... His influence on the musical life in Germany was considerable. The revival of interest in Bach is largely due to him. Berlin doesn't complain about that.
Lieutenant, this is not a lecture theatre.
I'll ask you again, Wolf, did you have to play Mendelssohn?
I didn't know, Herr Major, that Sturmbannführer Reinecker was in the cafe listening.
Would it have made a difference had you known?
Perhaps. Yes, Herr Major.
Why was the Sturmbannführer in the cafe? Do you think it was pure chance?
I imagine so, Herr Oberst. I haven't thought about it.
Well, then I suggest you do think about it. This is not the first time that he has felt the need to complain about you. And if he has decided that your activities are questionable, it certainly might not be the last. Now, if you wish to remain here, Lieutenant, in Guernsey, take care there are no further errors, of any kind, on duty or off.
Yes, Herr Oberst.
English tea rooms are forthwith out of bounds to you.
But, Herr Oberst, I have promised to go there this evening. Frau Clifford is expecting me to play for some of her friends.
They are out of bounds, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. Herta Clifford is German-born, is she not?
She married an islander just before the... in 1938, Herr Major.
And he is a man much older than herself.
I believe so, perhaps 20 years.
I trust you have conducted yourself correctly.
Herr Major, Frau Clifford is an excellent teacher and pianist. She had a career in music until her first husband died and until she came here where the opportunities are limited. I greatly admire her skills.
I hope that is all you have admired.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Oddly enough, Kluger had an anonymous letter today about Herta Clifford. It accuses her of black marketeering.
Uh-huh.
And mentions a German soldier.
Wolf?
It didn't say. Just that there was a German soldier involved.
Well, let's hope he hasn't been up to anything more foolish than playing Mendelssohn.
First rate, what do you think, Peter? Sorry? He's a damn fine pianist, whatever else.
I shall have to go.
Can't we persuade you, Helmut?
Well, we should all go. It's almost curfew time.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
And I shouldn't be here at all in any case.
Why ever not? We are delighted to have you.
There's something I must tell you, Herta.
I can only assume you know what you're doing.
What's wrong now?
Oh, look at them.
Which is why I didn't have time to get any more cigars. You see, the Commandant kept me.
I wouldn't have taken them, not tonight. You were kind enough to play for us.
Thank you. I've enjoyed myself. And please, Herta, try not to be anxious. Your husband is quite safe at his age.
Married to German in the first place was bad enough, but not to entertain one. Goodness knows what the neighbours are going to think.
As a matter of fact, Marjorie, if you hadn't noticed, he was entertaining us.
You know perfectly well what I mean.
Thank you very much, Herta. I've enjoyed myself.
Good.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Cheerio,
Good
Peter.
night.
Good night. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Good night, Margie. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks very much.
Mr. Porteous. The Hagenera's horse seems to have a loose plate. Could you help us?
I'm not a blacksmith.
It's not a skilled job. It only needs tightening. Hold ahead, Reinecker.
That's all I can do. You really need a proper farrier.
I'm grateful for that much. Thank you. Thank you again. We'll ride back quietly, much to the Major's relief. Hey, Reinecker?
So, you're a music lover, Mr. Porteous. The English tea rooms, last night.
One must do something to pass the time, Major. Listening to music is one.
Certainly more relaxing than photography, wouldn't you say? Walk on.
What was that you were saying about photography?
Porteous was convicted last year, Herr General.
Yes,
for
Mr. Peter Porteous. He was sent to prison in France, wasn't he?
I'm not entirely satisfied that he's learnt his lesson, Herr General.
Meaning?
There's a signals officer in the Feldkommandantur. He and Porteous apparently visit the same cafe. They could be using it as a rendezvous for the exchange of information.
Apparently. Could be. Not very conclusive, is it?
The lieutenant concerned has access to official secrets. Porteous is quite capable of exploiting the man's weaknesses.
He's vulnerable, is he, this officer of yours?
I suspect so. And I'm particularly concerned at the moment about the Führer's orders. The islanders must not hear of them except from official sources and at the right time.
Have you discussed this with the Feldkommandant?
Meyer Friedel, I believe, regards the cafe visits as purely social. However...
But you have discussed it with him.
At the moment, Herr General, I'm still gathering information. The matter is too serious for complacency.
Out!
What is this?
These premises are now closed.
Why? What has happened?
These premises are to be searched and your stocks checked.
Stocks? What stocks? Everything I have is in one small cupboard.
Upstairs! Show me this one small cupboard.
Am I supposed to have done something wrong? Surely I have the right to know.
The cupboard, Frau Clifford.
What is this? What are you doing? That's my wife's. What are you looking for? What do you want? What's going on, Marjorie?
These cigars, where did you obtain them?
From a friend?
They are black market goods?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
They were given to me.
Given?
Yes, by... Has someone accused me of black marketeering?
These cigars were given to you by whom?
A young friend.
A friend?
Yes. Are you accusing me of something?
Have I accused you, Frau Clifford?
This is madness. Is there any need to be so churlish? At least explain why you are here. Surely your commandant doesn't encourage this antagonism.
Antagonism?
I'm being cooperative. There's no need to treat me like a criminal. I'm quite prepared to tell you whatever you wish to know.
Except the name of this young friend.
I don't want him to get into any trouble, that is all. He's done nothing wrong.
The name, Frau Clifford.
Wolf. Lieutenant Helmut Wolf.
Feldwebel, take these. You will be given a receipt. If they are not black market goods, they will be returned to you.
You have done irreparable harm, Kluger.
I had information on which I had no alternative but to act.
What information?
An anonymous letter stating that the woman was involved in black market activities.
Nonsense!
A quantity of goods have already been recovered.
I had the building under observation, Kluger.
Had you informed me of that fact, Herr Sturmbannführer, I would of course have consulted you first.
When was the cafe closed?
2 hours ago.
Then it must be reopened immediately.
That is not possible.
Kluger, you will make an apology to Frau Clifford for any inconvenience caused. You will make it quite clear that everything is in order and that your action was a misunderstanding. Is that understood, Kluger?
You make yourself very clear, Herr Sturmbannführer. However, I am working under the direct instructions of the Feldkommandant. My inquiries must proceed in the proper course.
My dear, I mean, if the cigars were a gift, what is there to fear? I didn't realize he'd given you so many, but it can't make any difference. There's still nothing illegal, surely, about making gifts to people.
Unless he'd stolen them.
Of course he hasn't stolen them.
How do you know that?
I'm so frightened.
So you should be. I always said it was a mistake to sell them.
What else do you expect her to do?
I don't remember you ever saying so before. There's 2 of them. Down in the street. They make me feel so dirty. So guilty, and I haven't done anything. Why have they taken our papers?
Because they're bureaucrats, Herta. I mean, they may wear uniforms, that's all they are, basically. Narrow, single-minded bureaucrats. Petty, pedantic, officious men.
I'm worried for Helmut.
If you are right, and the damage has already been done, your suspect will not use the place again, whether it's reopened or not.
Which is precisely why I'm so angry, Herr Oberst.
Yeah, I too am angry. Why did you fail to report these observations of yours?
I advised you, Herr Oberst, that I was not satisfied with the behavior of Lieutenant Wolf.
And I advised you that I would deal with him.
It is a matter of security, Oberst.
It is a matter, Sturmbannführer, of the behavior of one of my officers.
The behavior of a German soldier perfectly placed to betray his country.
As I recall, your complaint was that he had confessed to a liking for Mendelssohn.
Lieutenant Wolf Meyer is a signals officer who has been seen in the company of known subversives.
Are you suggesting...
I am suggesting, Herr Oberst, that Wolf, by regularly visiting this cafe and meeting there not only Frau Clifford, but also Porteus and Dr. Martel, has placed himself in a serious and highly compromising position.
It has never been established or even claimed that Porteus was actually an enemy agent. And Dr. Martel's guilt, as you well know, was purely technical.
You would admit, surely, Herr Oberst, that they are both anti-Nazi sympathizers.
What else would you expect them to be?
There are few enough cafes. Is it too much of a coincidence that Porteus and Martel should both use the place from time to time?
Porteus visits the Cliffords in order to deliver vegetables.
At night?
Do you mean you have seen Lieutenant Wolf and Porteus in the cafe together at night?
With Martel, Herr Oberst. Last night.
Last night? And you have discovered black market goods on the premises, you say?
I found a number of cigars, Herr Oberst. It has not yet been established whether they were obtained legally or not.
I cannot stop the investigations of the Felt Gendarmerie, Sturmbannführer. They are on hand. The matter must rest there at least until they are completed.
Is this your view as well, Herr Oberst?
The Feldkommandant's view is also my view. Thank you, Otto.
Herr Oberst?
Well, unless something is proved against Wolf, which seems to me to be unlikely, might be as well to return him to his unit. Keep him out of Heineke's way.
That means a transfer to the Eastern Front.
where perhaps he may learn to obey orders.
Olive!
Oh, hello, Dan. Everything all right?
I've seen 10 people, listened to their hearts, looked at their tongues, made all the right noises, and they all seem to get better. The practice of medicine isn't science, it's faith healing. Which is just as well, since my pharmacopoeia is down to a bottle of slippery elm and some tincture of belladonna.
There's somebody waiting for you.
Oh, Lord. Who is it?
Marjorie Clifford.
What's the matter with her?
Well, she's in a bit of a state. The German police have closed the tea rooms.
Why?
Oh, some nonsense about black marketeering.
Psst. Anyone else waiting?
No.
A most enjoyable evening last night, Marjorie. What can I do for you?
I'm so worried I don't know what to do for the best.
Germans closed you up, eh?
They came this morning and searched everywhere.
Did they give a reason?
Almost the first thing they found were the cigars.
Sorry, what cigars?
That German brings them.
You mean the young officer who comes and plays? Helmet?
Comes and plays, all right. William doesn't see a thing.
Well, what's so wrong about bringing a few cigars?
Herta's been selling them. They were bound to find out sooner or later.
Selling them? How many cigars?
Oh, he's always bringing them. He's always there. Not that I care about him, nor much about her. But William's my brother, and sooner or later it's bound to come out.
What made the Germans come to the cafe?
I just didn't feel I could let it go on. Of course, they're bound to say I did it out of spite, but that's not true. I've no time for the woman, I admit, but I did it for the best.
Did what, Margie?
Well, wrote to them, of course. I don't like going behind people's backs, but sometimes it's the only way.
You wrote to the Germans? Is that what you mean?
For William's sake.
For good heavens, didn't you discuss this cigar business with William or Herta?
Oh, there's no point in talking to that woman. And I couldn't say anything to William. He wouldn't have listened. He's so besotted. So I wrote a letter saying that my sister-in-law was dealing with the black market.
Well, I don't know what you expect me to do about it, Marjorie, but I know what you've got to do. You've got to go straight to the German police and tell them the truth.
But I have told them the truth.
What you think is the truth. What you want to believe, for some reason or other, is true. But by the sound of it, you haven't got the slightest shred of evidence.
But I saw what was happening.
What you thought was happening.
I can't go to them. That's the whole point. It's too late.
Oh, it's never too late, Marjorie. Whatever happens to tell the truth.
I can't. I wrote the letter anonymously. William has never known it was me.
Well, then you made a thorough mess of the whole thing, haven't you? Why have you come to see me?
Because I don't know what to do.
I've told you what to do.
No, you don't understand. They ransacked the whole place. It was disgusting, degrading.
Well, if you write anonymous
they took away
letters
our
to the...
papers, private things, birth certificates, things like
so
that.
So what? You'll get them
Herta
back.
says it's to do with the deportations.
Deportations?
Yes. She says the Germans are going to deport islanders born in England.
Oh, that can't be, Marjorie. I'd have heard about that.
She says it's true. She's been told.
By Helmut. But I don't understand how you'd be affected by all this, Marjorie. I mean, your family's always been here.
Father and Mother were on a visit to London when William was born. He arrived early, you see.
Now the Germans have got his birth certificate.
I bought the cigars in the officers' mess, Herr Major.
How many?
I don't know, Herr Major. Over the past few months, I suppose perhaps 200.
200?
Frau Clifford has given me a great deal of help and allowed me to use her piano.
There's a piano in the junior officers' mess, Lieutenant.
Why didn't you simply give her money?
She would not accept money. That is why I made the gifts.
But why cigars?
There was nothing else I could think of.
Did you obtain a receipt when you bought these cigars?
No, of course I didn't.
Then we only have your word for it.
Are you suggesting I stole them, Oberleutnant?
I'm not suggesting anything, Lieutenant. I'm simply asking questions to clarify a situation. You would do well to assist.
The orderlies will remember having served me.
Do you think so? Do you really think they will remember whether they sold you 25 cigars, or 50, or 100?
I bought them, Herr Major, every one of them. It was the only way I could help Frau Clifford.
Very well, Oberleutnant. That'll be all for the moment, thank you.
Herr Major.
Wolf, how well do you know the Englishman Peter Porteous?
I have spoken to him once.
Only once?
Yes, Herr Major.
And when was that?
Last night, Herr Major.
At the English tea rooms?
Yes, Herr Major.
After the Commandant had expressly forbidden you to go there again.
I had promised to go. Frau Clifford had invited several people for the evening. She wanted me to play.
You are already in trouble with the SS, and now you deliberately disobey the orders of the Commandant.
Herr Major?
You are a very foolish young man, Wolf.
In the circumstances, it was somewhat ill-advised to sell the cigars, Mrs. Clifford.
What else could I do with them? My husband doesn't smoke. I could have given them away, I suppose.
But he wanted her to sell them. It was his way of thanking my wife for her help.
Yes. But I'm satisfied that no regulations have been broken.
Thank God for that.
And Lieutenant Wolf, he will not be in any trouble.
Well, you have no need to concern yourself over Lieutenant Wolf.
We may reopen the tea rooms then.
You may.
Not to forget any customers. There's no smoke without fire, that's what people say. Our family has always had such a good name in business. We've never had any dirt thrown at us before.
Whoever's thrown the dirt, Marjorie, is obviously either insanely jealous for some reason or simply malicious. What about our papers, Oberleutnant?
Papers?
You took our personal papers during the search.
They'll be returned in due course.
Why do you need to keep them at all?
Well, that matter is out of my hands.
Out of your hands? I don't understand. What is out of your hands?
The records on the island are incomplete.
It's true.
What is true, Miss Clifford?
Nothing. Nothing.
It's all been very upsetting for her.
Yes. Well, your papers will be returned in due course.
Oh, my God. It is true.
Both Lieutenant Wolf and the Feldgendarmerie are answerable to Friedel. If he declines to stop a police investigation, I don't see what I can do.
But, Herr General, it is a matter of military security.
So you say, but you present no evidence.
That is exactly my point. My own investigation has been frustrated by the clumsy intervention of the Feldgendarmerie.
But, Reinecker, I don't believe they had any other course than to act as they did. I think you yourself must accept some responsibility for this. Had you made known your suspicions regarding Wolf, Major Friedel might have dealt differently with the other matter.
It was not something I wished to talk about until I had further evidence, Herr General.
I understand, but you can scarcely object then when an unrelated inquiry gets in the way. Your suspicion is well grounded.
Even without evidence of anything worse, Herr General, I can say that Lieutenant Wolf is undependable in his work and politically suspect. I'm able to say this from what I personally have observed, Herr General.
Very well. Leave it with me, Sturmbannführer.
Herr General.
You have conducted yourself stupidly.
Oberleutnant Kluger has satisfied himself that the cigars...
I'm not talking about the cigars. I've heard the story. I'm prepared to accept it. My concern is with your general attitude and demeanor.
Herr Oberst?
Well, you're a soldier. You're not a spokesman for the critics of the German government. You're a German officer. You do as that government asks you to do.
I'm not disloyal to Germany, Herr Oberst.
You're disloyal to me. You visited the English tea rooms again last night.
I had promised to do so.
And I had ordered you not to do so.
Herr Oberst?
You were aware that Sturmbannführer Reinecker had expressed an interest in your activities?
Yes, Herr Oberst.
And that in itself should have been enough to alert you. Instead of which you disregard him and disobey me. You'll be sent back to the mainland immediately for redeployment. Will you give me no alternative? That is all. If he stays here, he'll talk himself into a court-martial. Reinecker will see to that.
And if they send him east, which they are likely to do...
Well, then he must take his chance with the rest. As one day we may all have to do.
Now, the story is that all the islanders born in England will be deported. Sent to Germany.
And this story comes from...
The Cliffords. Herta was told by young Helmut.
But surely you'd know about something like that, wouldn't you? I mean, they'd have to tell the controlling committee.
Oh, yes, when it actually happens.
And why would Helmut tell the Cliffords?
Well, it seems that William was born in London.
But the Germans wouldn't know that.
Well, unfortunately, it seems that they will. They have his papers.
Is there anything you can do about it, Philip?
I'm seeing Richter in the morning.
Intention is, Doctor, to evacuate all male residents of military age who were born in England, Scotland and Wales.
Why? Are you afraid the island is going to raise some sort of army overnight? Is that what's alarming you?
But I'm not alarmed, Doctor. Except by the fact that you have acquired this information.
It's a damn good thing, too.
Well, where did you hear of it?
I would have hoped to have heard it directly from you.
Which does not answer my question.
When is this so-called evacuation to take place?
Within the next 48 hours.
What?
By noon on Friday.
And what time does that give us?
You do not need time. It is not your concern.
The welfare of the islanders is very much my concern, Colonel, as you damn well know.
The committee will be given a list. You will have the opportunity of appealing on behalf of anybody who is unfit to travel.
Well, where is the list? Can I have it now?
Which is not yet complete.
You're not telling me that within 48 hours you intend forcibly to remove a number of young men whose names you don't yet know?
You will be given the list at the appropriate time.
Well, can you at least tell me what you mean by military age?
We are interested only in those between 18 and 45.
What ridiculous purpose is this supposed to serve?
Those are the orders. That is what will be done. There is no point in debating the matter.
Well, there is no point in my remaining here, then, is there?
Doctor, where did you get this information?
I shall tell you nothing. It is enough that I have found out in time, perhaps to try to do something about it.
There is nothing to be done. The matter is proceeding.
I meant in simple humanitarian terms. Something which you apparently don't seem to understand.
I should have thought that in many respects it is more humane not to give people too much notice of this kind of disruption.
Would you really? Well, Colonel, whether you like it or not, I have a civil obligation to these people to give them as much help and preparation as possible. I should be obliged if you would give me the names as soon as possible.
The requirement has been increased. We have now to deport 825 English-born Guernsey residents.
I doubt if that would be possible, Herr General.
The number must be met, Richter. If there is any difficulty, increase the age range. Older men, youths, boys, women and children, if need be. Berlin insists.
May I ask why, sir?
It's a political matter to do with the expulsion of our own nationals from Persia, I understand.
I see, reprisals.
For every German national thrown out of Persia, 10 Englishmen are to be expelled from the Channel Islands.
Is it 825 from Guernsey alone, sir? I doubt if there are that many.
The Führer himself insists, Sir Best.
Very good, Herr General.
By the way, that SS man came to see me about the business at the English tea rooms. The woman who runs the place is German, I understand.
German-born, Herr General. She married a Guernsey man in 1938.
Sit down, Dieter. I'm concerned about the handling of Reinecker. You and I both know the situation. I managed to dissuade him from putting in a written complaint to Army Group.
I doubt it will actually come to that, sir. Reinecker's suspicions of Lieutenant Wolf were based on ideology, I believe, rather than on evidence.
That may or may not be so. The fact remains that it would be embarrassing if he put in any sort of formal report on the matter.
I myself held an inquiry, sir.
At great speed, too. One might be forgiven for thinking. Mistakenly, no doubt. That the officer was removed in great haste for his own good. We must be very cautious in our dealings with any matters that border on the interests of the SS, Dieter. Particularly so with such a conscientious officer as Reinecker, however much of a prickly zealot you may feel him to be. Now, tell me why you think that Reinecker's suspicions of the activities at the English tea rooms were unfounded, because I assure you he is not yet by any means convinced.
After the receipt of the anonymous letter, sir, the tea rooms were searched, German cigars were found, and an adequate explanation was given. But also found among personal papers was the birth certificate of the German woman's husband, a man of almost 60 who was, as it turns out, born in London. Now, I suspect a personal motive of some kind behind this letter. I think that, apart from anything else, It was meant to lead to the deportation of William Clifford.
I fail to see how you arrive at that conclusion. The current plans for the deportations have been kept secret. Have they not?
Rumours gets about, especially a rumour of this kind.
Are you guessing, or do you have some specific reason for saying that?
Well, Dr. Martell of the Emergency Controlling Committee had heard of it.
Martell? How would he know of it?
Well, to find the number of people required, sir, and to evacuate them within a few hours, demands considerable organisation. Many of our people know of the plans, and I think it neither sensible nor just to lay it at the door of one particular person.
But what about this man Porteous?
He merely supplies the place with vegetables.
So you would acquit the signals officer Wolf from any charge of conspiracy?
Reinecke, sir, sees only what he wishes to see.
Which coincided with the desire of someone to see William Clifford removed. That what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Fortunately for him, he is too old, so the whole ruse fails.
Why? You said yourself 825 is a large number to find. 60 is not too old to travel. Add him to your list.
Not Bill Clifford.
Oh, yes.
But that's monstrous.
Yes, I know. It's just what it is. But it has to be.
Poor Herta. Well, is Bill well enough to travel?
Oh, he has a skin rash. The German doctors would laugh it off. So much for promises about age limits.
I don't suppose they'd know anything about him if Marjorie hadn't written that stupid letter.
No, probably not.
Where are you going?
Where do you think? These people sail in a few hours.
Oberst Richter tells me that Lieutenant Wolf has been returned to his unit.
And the Cliffords, Herr General?
William Clifford is to be deported tomorrow.
But not his wife.
She was born in Essen. That hardly qualifies
She is
her.
married to an English-born islander, Herr General. By marrying him, she betrayed the fatherland.
That is certainly a point of view.
I would strongly recommend her for deportation, Herr General, if the Commandant still has a problem over numbers. If that is all, Herr General.
Thank you, Reinecke, yes. I would just suggest, Sturmbannführer, that it would make procedures easier for everyone concerned if you would keep at least the senior members of my staff informed of your actions whenever there is the possibility of, what shall we say, a clash of interests.
But, Herr General, I have
Your
explained
fellow
that...
officers, Reinecke, would be in a far better position to help you and to further the cause of the German presence here if you would allow them to play a fuller part in those areas of your work where you feel they could be of assistance to you.
Herr General.
Perhaps we can ride again soon.
I look forward to that, sir.
Excellent. Excellent.
I'm ready. Two of you. William and Herta Clifford.
Hush. It'll be all right. It won't be for long.
It's all my fault.
It's no one's fault. It's war.
You don't understand.
You and I we'll look after things till he gets back. We'll make a go of it. You see. I was saying, Marjorie and I, we'll make a go of the place. The time will fly till you're back home again. We'll scarcely notice you've gone. What is it? What's the matter?
You too. They want you too.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad.
Oberleutnant Kluge, is it not?
Yes?
My name is de Villefort.
Oh, yes, of course.
I just wanted to thank you personally for returning my chess set. You may remember that it had been, shall we say, borrowed by the soldier who was billeted on me.
Of course I remember. I'm glad to have been of service to you. Please, sit down.
Thank you.
Sturmbannführer Reinecke.
It's not that it was of any real value, but it would be difficult to replace today, and I do use it quite often.
So, you were a chess player, Mr. de Villefort?
Oh, no great attainment, I assure you, but it is a great interest.
It is indeed.
The only form of warfare that can be regarded as civilized. My father used to say he was one of the founders of the inter-island tournaments here. That was quite an island event. Held in this hotel, in fact, in this very room.
And these tournaments between the islands, were the events of some importance?
Oh, yes, indeed. I won't claim that all the islands stopped work to watch. It was of necessity parochial, but the tournament was well attended and reported, and well, I think that pride in one's island would shine for a little while.
Even with those who did not play chess?
Well, yes, so it seemed. As a matter of fact, it usually fell to me to organise the Guernsey side of things, and the finals also, and I used to look forward to that. I'm sorry, I intrude. Thank you again, Oberleutnant.
They don't stay to talk very long. Not good for their local reputation, I suppose. Can't blame them.
Sooner or later they will have to realize that we are here and mean to stay.
It's a pity we can't revive things like this chess tournament. That's the sort of thing that might bring us together. Good for morale. Less boredom, less crime. I might talk to the commandant about it. Before the war, there was an inter-island chess tournament of some importance and interest. It occurred to me that we might revive it and open it to our own servicemen, both officers and ranks. And if enough was made of it, it could be worth a great deal as a morale builder.
I hope you weren't thinking of a confrontation, were you, Otto? Germany versus the Channel Islands, I couldn't agree to that.
No, sir, no, of course not. But a tournament where occupier might meet on a purely personal level with occupied, where it makes no difference if you're British or French or German, could only be to our advantage. It might even help us to integrate the civilians and the military in a way which we have not yet, with respect, managed. I think the key to the whole thing would be to allow it to continue as an inter-island championship.
That's an interesting idea. Thank you, Otto.
Shall I ask Mr. de Villefort to come and see you, sir?
They used to play quite a lot of chess on the islands prior to the war, sir. Inter-island championships, island tournaments. I'm told they were events of some importance.
And you think that if we permitted a resumption of the tournament, it would be psychologically to our advantage?
I do, Herr General.
By substituting a game of chess as a focus for their aggressions against us. It's an interesting idea, Reinecke.
I was wondering, sir, if there might not be some additional merit in taking it one step further.
How do you mean?
If we were to participate.
The German forces?
Those amongst us specially qualified and interested.
Reinecke, what are you maneuvering me into?
It would be an enormous boost to our morale if there were some German participation.
Even if we lost?
The possibility would not arise, sir, if you were to play.
I thought that's what you were going to say. If we won, would not the islanders feel resentment?
I'm sure not, sir. They would have been worsted in fair contest. They would feel only respect, I should say.
It's a very challenging proposition. You think I should rise to the occasion, do you?
There's not one of us better qualified, sir.
So you say, so you say. Very well. I shall.
Very sporting, sir.
You better put the commandant in the picture.
It might be more diplomatic if he were to hear it directly from you, sir.
Yes, you're right. Very well. I'll tell him.
Herr General?
You a chess man, Reinecker?
Oh, I play reasonably well for an amateur.
I shall require a second if I'm to enter seriously. Perhaps you would consider it. Unless, of course, you wish to enter on your own account.
I would be honored, sir.
Mr. de Villefort, how kind of you to come. Please sit down, would you?
Thank you.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't, thank you.
Well, I asked you to come and see me because of a chance conversation you had the other evening with an officer of mine, Oberleutnant Kluge. Kluge tells me that before the war, much was made here of the inter-island chess tournament.
Oh, yes, indeed, Colonel. It was one of the highlights of our calendar and aroused a great deal of interest, not to say partisanship.
How would the islanders react if I were to permit, to encourage even, such a return to normality? Would it be welcomed?
Oh, I'm sure it'd be greatly appreciated. I mean, as you say, it does imply a return to normality, and yes, I think it would be a step in the right direction.
Good. Now, what would be the reaction if the tournament were to be open not only to civilians, but also to the occupation forces?
All right. I'm not quite sure, sir. I mean, I can see that it could bring us together in happier circumstances, but the chess committee, I'm not quite sure.
I don't think the chess committee could raise any real objection, do you? I've been able to obtain a copy of the rules of your association. And, you know, I find that most of my men fulfill the residence qualifications. Do they not?
Yes, I imagine they do, yes.
Well, then it could be managed, surely, without infringement.
Yes, I suppose it could, sir, yes.
In that case, since you are in agreement, in principle, shall we consider detail for a moment? Now, I gather that the time-honoured procedure is to hold the elimination heats in both Jersey and Guernsey, only the finalists coming together in one centre.
Yes, that's quite correct, sir. Guernsey usually hosting the finals in one or other of the larger hotels.
Excellent.
But, of course, there is the problem of the contestants being on different islands.
Oh, that is no longer a problem. The Commander-in-Chief is greatly in favour of the plan. He is prepared to grant restricted movement between the islands. I was given to understand that you were actually the organiser of these events.
Oh, yes, I've done it for 7 years. Well, until the outbreak of war, that is.
Are you prepared to continue in that capacity?
Oh, well,
I would consider it a friendly gesture.
Well, in that case, of course, Commandant.
Thank you. Well, shall we then aim at the first Thursday in October? It is normally Thursday, is it not?
It is indeed, sir. Yes.
And I should think the Hotel Normandie would be the most suitable venue. Now, is there any reason why the semi-finals should not also be held in Guernsey?
No, it's a little irregular. I mean,
Regularity must bow to military convenience, Mr. de Villefort. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, I do indeed, sir, yes.
It seems always to be the same three people. Raymond Le Galley for Guernsey, Clive Richmond and Arthur Gardner for Jersey. Obviously, on past form, we must assume that they again will provide the stiffest opposition.
If they enter.
We must anticipate that they will. Very well. Get on to Hauptsturmführer Vetter in Jersey. Enlist his help with Richmond and Gardner. I want all available biographical data and without them knowing. Understood?
Yes, Sturmbannführer.
Medical history, financial background, pre-war activities, domestic situation, anything at all. I will be the judge of its importance. A comprehensive dossier.
Very good, sir.
And tell Vetter that I personally require it as a matter of urgency.
It will be arranged, Sturmbannführer.
When that is in hand, address your attention to Le Galley here on Guernsey. And Kleist, I want the information by the end of the week.
Oh, sure I'm not in the way or anything?
No. Good heavens, no. Here, come and have a seat.
Thanks. Nice and cosy?
Yes. Yeah, we do just about everything in here these days, except sleep. Well, now, George, tell me, is this visit medical, social, or something else?
Oh, you've heard about the chess tournament?
Yes.
I'm getting a little bit worried about it. You see, this German participation has placed an entirely new emphasis on the whole thing.
You mean it's become a sort of them and us situation?
Exactly. Whether we like it or not, it has become Germans versus us.
So we've just got a win, haven't we?
Right. Now, the Germans have permitted me to phone Albert Guppy in Jersey. He's the Jersey organizer, my opposite number.
Yeah.
Now, Albert tells me that, in his opinion, they only have one real contender, and that's Clive Richmond. Well, he's a good enough player, but he's certainly not in Muller's class.
Muller? General Muller?
Oh, yes, he's entered. Well, didn't you know?
What?
He was runner-up in the Berlin Championships, 38, I think.
Oh, good heavens. Well, he'll be the Guernsey finalist, won't he? I mean, our chap Legali is no match for that.
No. Of course, there's always Arthur Gardner.
Yes, he was a superb chess player, but...
Exactly. Albert tells me he's now virtually retired from social life. He's become something of a recluse, apparently.
That doesn't surprise me in the least.
Well, you always knew him much better than I did.
Ah, so that's why you're here.
The islands need Arthur Gardner, Philip. What do you think?
Oh, this endless queuing. Hello, George.
Hello, dear.
Now, do sit down,
Thank you.
please. Well,
Olive, George here wants me to try to get in touch with Arthur Gardner. See if we can persuade him to go in for this blasted chess tournament.
well, I'm sure Louise would be only too delighted to get him out from under her feet. No, Louise seconds for him. They could come and stay here with us.
Oh, well, if you could put them up, that'd be marvellous.
Yes. Well, we don't know he's going to do it yet, do we?
I'd be very grateful if you'd give it a try, Philip. Please. Better get back to the office.
Oh, won't you stay for a cup of...
What?
mere tea?
Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you, but I better be on my way. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, sorry, George. I'll see you out.
Remember me to Mary?
Yes, I will.
Yes, of course I will.
Haven't seen George for ages.
Oh, I see him now and again. He's on several subcommittees.
Not too keen on the idea of Arthur Gardner, eh?
Well, not entirely, no.
Somaliland or somewhere, wasn't it?
It was Ethiopia, actually.
What exactly did happen?
Well, they were there at the time of the Italian takeover. Some very odd things happened, and poor old Arthur had a hell of a time. He was under house arrest, and the Africans were out for sport as well as getting at anyone who had the misfortune to be white, and not to put too fine a point on it. They broke him. He came back in a terrible state.
You'd never know with all that pompous nonsense of his.
Oh, that's just a front which he hides behind. No, I think the real problem is that under pressure, I think Arthur might crack.
Oh, surely not just over a game.
Yeah.
It would be nice, wouldn't it, Philip, to see two new faces on the island? Why, he could always refuse. Might do him good.
You're absolutely right, aren't you? All right, I'll drop him alone.
Yes. Yes, that would interest me very considerably. What is his name? Ernst Steiger? I will send Kleist to meet him. Perhaps you would also give him the dossiers. Thank you, Hauptsturmführer. You've done well. You will report to Hauptsturmführer Vetter on Jersey. He will give you the papers. You will meet a man, Ernst Steiger, whom you will bring back.
I do not know the name?
No, he's not of the Waffen-SS. He is an interrogator.
The Geheimnisstaatspolizei.
Yes. You will travel by boat. Air transport is booked out, and I don't want any official record of your visit. Understood?
Sir.
One other thing. I have decided to give the forthcoming chess tournament full coverage in the German press. It will be excellent propaganda if it is handled properly. That means via the right channels. Contact Leider in the press office in Paris. Follow it up in writing with copies to my desk clerk and the commandant's office, and ensure that the commandant's copy is slipped into the file unseen. Is that clear?
Of course, Sturmbannführer.
Come in, both of you. Here we are.
Thank you, Philip.
Olive! Olive, they're here!
Coming. Oh, Louise! Oh, my dear. Oh, good to see you.
It's
again.
very civil of you to put us up. I hope it's not a damn nuisance.
No,
Good
it's
heavens,
a tonic, I promise you. We haven't had visitors since...
No, give us your suitcase. I'll take them up, show you your rooms, then we can all have a jolly good gossip. Awful boat trip.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There used to be quite a decent bar on that tub.
Oh, dinner, for want of a better word, will be in half an hour.
Don't play on anything special, will you?
You're joking. Oh, it is nice.
I don't think we need concern ourselves with the others. This man Gardner is the threat.
I've read Gardner's papers, Sturmbannführer, and I observed him on the boat.
Well?
He's overstressed. The blade that is bent once too often becomes brittle. Next time it will snap.
This trouble of his in Ethiopia, it would be difficult in the time to obtain the full facts.
It's not necessary. It's enough merely that he knows his weakness and that someone is coming to bend him again.
Hauptsturmführer Vetter saw that this was a matter somewhat outside the ordinary terms of the Waffen-SS, which is, of course, why he suggested you. It is necessary that one treads with a certain delicacy vis-à-vis the Kommandanteur.
I shall not embarrass you with the Wehrmacht.
I hope not. Nevertheless, such embarrassment would be little in comparison with, shall we say, an unfavorable outcome to the tournament.
It's understood.
Kleist will help you to whatever extent you need.
May I suggest that no action be taken till after the semi-finals?
Yes. Yes, that seems sensible. It will give you an opportunity for further inspection of your prey, Steiger.
Come along, Arthur. You must settle down. You're playing Clive Richmond tomorrow. It's not just a formality. He's a good player.
Oh, so too many a time. But he relies too much on the French defence. There. That's what Clive would do. Now, can't you win something? No, I've been thinking of that Jerry fellow, Mulhouse.
Muller, dear.
Oh, yes, Muller. It wasn't Frankfurt in 37. That was Petrov.
No, it was Berlin in 38.
Whatever it was, you sure, Lou?
Yes, I'm quite sure.
Opening's a bit limited, I remember.
No, Arthur, it's a weak middle game.
Yeah, Botvinnik type, I shouldn't wonder. Yeah, I thought you'd spot the clearance. Now, if you can get the bishop out of the way...
Like this, and then you take this knight, then bishop takes rook, and later I'll win this knight. Oh, you really shouldn't smoke like that, Arthur. It can't be good for you. And you said the cigarettes were quite awful.
Just want to go back and rethink that. Do you mind?
No, if it'll help you, Arthur. I think you should defer this knight move. Perhaps his pawn here...
Damn it, woman, do you have to keep butting in? How the hell can I think the game through with these constant interruptions?
You have lost on time, I think, Mr. Legale.
You've done it again, Arthur.
right on time. You sharpened your game enormously. Great pleasure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the results of the semi-finals, as you have just seen, are for Guernsey, General Muller, and for Jersey, Arthur Gardner. Now, the inter-island finals will be held here in this room in 2 weeks' time. That's Thursday, the 18th. So again, our congratulations to the winners and our thanks and commiserations to the gallant losers.
Congratulations. Well done.
It will be a fine game, I think.
I hope so, sir.
Would the Herr General permit an observation?
Of course.
I would venture to suggest that your middle game is somewhat weak, sir. It is in that area that Gardner is strongest, if I am to believe reports.
Did you watch any of his play, Ronica?
Yes, sir. Yes, quite closely.
Good. Then this evening you can instruct me in Gardner's thinking. And now, Richter, you wish to say something?
Oh, yes, Herr General, we can wait until...
No, Ronica, perhaps you'll join me again in this office at 2000.
Of course, Herr General.
Sit down, Richter.
Thank you, sir. It really is about the tournament that I wish to speak, sir. I don't know if you're aware, but it has engendered a great deal of feeling. It has ceased to be an event merely for those interested in the game. It's attracting unprecedented attention, both among the islanders and our own Garys, and it is beginning to worry me just a little.
Oh, come, Richter. How can one seriously be concerned about such a harmless affair? You approved the project yourself and fell in with my suggestion? I really cannot see any
With
reason...
great respect, sir, it is no longer a purely local affair. It is simply a case of Germany versus the Chalon Islands. Now, I regard that as potentially dangerous and inflammatory.
What exactly are you suggesting, Richter?
Again, sir, with great respect, I would ask you to withdraw from the final game. But you could allow the defeated semi-finalists to take your place, and you could always plead that pressure of duty had...
Stand down simply because one of my subordinates considers it might be embarrassing if his commanding officer loses the game?
No, sir. It's the opposite that disturbs me. I consider it would be bad for island morale if you were to win. Spirits are low, irritation is running high, and I would not wish to inflame a situation and so find ourselves forced to act against the directive of High Command.
Now, Best, are you implying that I'm not following my orders in the administration of these islands?
Not at all, sir, not at all. I
Then
merely
you
wish
would
to
do
warn
well
you.
not to imply criticism of High Command, or of your own commanding officer.
I had not intended either, Herr General. Forgive me if it sounded that way.
Well, Arthur, the finals are not far away. You played a good game against Clive Richmond. Not a perfect one.
I was right about him. Always impulsive, he grabbed that bishop too quickly.
He seemed a trifle tired. Is he still suffering from his back trouble?
Well, how the hell should I know? I haven't seen him for 3 years till we met on that wretched boat. You're just trying to make excuses for him.
I like Clive Richmond.
Haven't forgotten him yet, eh? Fancy trotting out that old Lopez move. Haven't seen that given an airing since the chucker in Addis Ababa in 34. That shipping fellow, Cardew?
Carstairs, dear, Basil Carstairs.
Oh, ignore it.
Well, of course we can't. I'll go. Well, you finish setting up the ball.
Oh.
Arthur?
Oh, who's this?
May I see your papers?
Well, look, we've done nothing wrong. This is not our house.
Arthur Rupert Gardner?
Yes?
You were the manager of a mine in Ethiopia?
Yes. Yes, a mineral mine in Wakega. Why?
Why did you leave Ethiopia, Mr. Gardner?
Why did I leave? Now, what's that got to do
The
with
answer,
anything?
please.
My contract was terminated.
Why was it terminated?
What is all this nonsense? What gives you the right to come
If
barging
you
in
do not
here?
answer my questions here, I shall have to take you back to Jersey to the Gestapo office. Now, in what circumstances was your employment in Ethiopia terminated, Mr. Gardner?
The Italians made it impossible for me to run the mine.
That seems a very strange thing for them to do. Why should they do that?
Well, when they took possession of the mine, they impounded the funds, seized the company's equipment, and put me under house arrest.
For 18 months?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why?
Well, for non-cooperation.
18 months for non-cooperation. I have a report, Mr. Gardner, from the Italian authorities that you are charged with criminal acts against the Italian military government, including embezzlement of funds belonging to the Wakega Mineral Company.
But that is absolutely untrue. Now, this is monstrous. I shall complain of victimization.
You'll soon have a chance of presenting your case, Mr. Gardner.
May one ask to whom?
To the Sturmbannführer, Mrs. Gardner.
Are you arresting me?
In view of the circumstances, we're prepared to leave the matter until after the tournament. You'll be hearing from me again.
I don't know. Perhaps I should withdraw from the tournament. But it might be for the best.
Best for whom? I don't think we should just submit, Arthur. Surely we have certain rights, even in times like these. You mustn't let them bully you.
I'm sorry, my
Oh,
dear.
sorry is just a word. If you'd stood up to them in Wakega, things might have been different.
Well, I did at the beginning. You know that. It's just that week after week of being kicked around, they wouldn't let me sleep. But I couldn't see you. You weren't there.
Arthur, I was in Addis Ababa trying to get the authorities to do something about the Italians and those wretched tribesmen. I couldn't get back to you, Arthur. How often do you have to be told things?
It's just 14 weeks of beatings and ill treatment. Take their toll.
Arthur, let's forget this nonsense. Now, come on. Let's get back to the game.
Oh.
Come along.
Will he crack?
In my opinion, he will. And quickly.
Not too quickly. We require him to play the games, merely to be too nervous to play with any concentration.
I will approach him once more, before the finals.
A lot depends on this, Steiger.
Don't be afraid. His mind will be on other things, I guarantee it.
The bailiff. Good afternoon, sir. Very kind of you to come on. Afternoon.
It's all right, Arthur. It's all right.
I need some coffee. I need coffee before I can play.
All right, Arthur. I'll see what I can do. I'll bring it to you in the restaurant.
This is outrageous.
Save your bluster for others, Mr. Gardner. On me it is wasted.
What do you want? I've told you all I can.
I've come to tell you something, Mr. Gardner. The business in Wakega. After the tournament, you'll be going to Italy.
To Italy? What for?
Well, to answer the charges against you.
But they're untrue. I told you there's nothing in them.
So you say.
Well, all I did was to refuse to cooperate when the Italians seized the mine.
When you get to Italy, you can tell them so.
Well, will they believe me?
Who knows?
And what if they don't?
Then, Mr. Gardner, I suspect you are in for a rather unhappy time.
But my wife can tell them it's not true. She knows she was there.
No, Mr. Gardner, you must face the music alone. Your wife will stay here.
I can't. I just can't. I'm trembling all over. My hands are sweating. My mind won't clear. I keep thinking of those terrible weeks.
Arthur, this is Guernsey. It's 1942. All that was 6 years ago. Now, put it out of your mind till this is over.
I can't. It's no good, Lou. I just can't.
Oh, it's all right, my dear. It's all right. It doesn't matter. You don't have to. Come in.
Just came to wish you. To wish you luck.
Philip, Arthur will not be participating in the tournament.
All right. Well, I'd better go and tell them.
No. No, that would mean that Muller would win by default. No, we must have a tournament, Philip. We all know this. Oh, Clive Richmond has already gone back to Jersey. Philip, I'm down in the book as Arthur's second. If it is agreeable to the organisers and the Guernsey contender, I will play on behalf of my husband.
Oh, well, I'll speak to them, of course.
There is a precedent, Jules Cabet in 1928. I do play, I assure you.
All right, well, I'll go and have a word with George, and then I think I'll run Arthur home.
Thank you.
Oh, forgive me, Lou.
There's nothing to forgive. I love you very dearly. And I understand. Now, I suggest that you go and sit in the back of Philip's car until the first break, and then he can drive you home. Arthur, wish me luck.
Come to see if you need anything. Philip told me about Arthur. You're going to take over, Louise.
If they let me.
I can't see why they should refuse.
Because I'm a woman?
They'll be even more sure of themselves.
I'm just beginning to realise why Arthur smokes. Will you join me?
Yes, Louise. I will.
Yeah.
What on earth?
Louise and I are simply enjoying a quiet cigarette together. Well, is she?
Well, is she what?
Permitted to play.
Oh, yes, that's absolutely agreed. Well, yes, old General Muller, I think, is a little bit disappointed that he's not going to fight Arthur, but I tried to reassure him. Now, I think our supporters are going to be just a little bit dismayed. It's no reflection on you, Louise. They're just counting on Arthur's reputation.
I imagine they think a woman couldn't possibly do as well, whatever her qualifications. Well, Louise, you have a challenge from many quarters.
Yes, it does seem to look that way, doesn't it? Oh, he's a hot at things. I can't think what he sees in them. Well, I suppose we better get on with it.
Mr. Bailiff, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. Mr. Arthur Gardner, the Jersey finalist, is unable to play today. But not wishing the championship to go by default, Arthur Gardner's second, his wife, Mrs. Louise Gardner, will take his place. Now, the committee and Major General Muller, the Guernsey contender, have agreed to this substitution. So, the championship final will now take place. These games will be played in accordance with the rules laid down by the International Chess Federation. The final will consist of 2 games. A deciding third game will be played if necessary. The time limit is 24 moves per hour each. If a game is unfinished after 3 hours, it will be adjudicated. Now, as usual, I'll ask our audience to contain themselves and maintain a respectful silence throughout the play. There'll be a 15-minute interval between the games. Are you in accord? Play.
Did he say who he was from? Oh, he mentioned the Sturmbannführer.
Sturmbannführer? Yes, General. He mentioned the Sturmbannführer. 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 He mentioned the Sturmbannführer
That's the SS rank of Major. There's only one of them on the island. Arthur, I take it the whole case is without foundation. There's absolutely nothing to it.
Well, there was trouble, but I had no hand in it. I did nothing wrong.
Doesn't it occur to you as very strange that the whole thing should have taken so long? I mean that it should have been brought to the surface now, after such a long time? And you say it is a complete fabrication, the embezzlement?
Yes.
You know what it is, don't you? It is a devious contrivance by that bastard Reinecker, deliberately calculated to make it inevitable that you would either lose the game or chuck it. I'm going to inform the bailiff, expose the whole thing. Can't continue.
No, no, please. I don't want you to do that. Louise is really very good. She's much better than me. It's just that she doesn't play in public. Hardly at all, even at home, except to coach me. I suppose I'm the one experienced in match play, but she has really studied the game. She knows it backwards. If she could win this tournament, it would be the first real triumph of her life. Give her the chance, I beg you.
Of course, Arthur. All the same, I shall go and write a short note to the Commandant. Tell him what's been going on. He must know.
Well, suppose he's in with them.
Oh, no, don't worry, not Richter, no. He's all right.
Check. Checkmate next move, I think, Mrs. Gardner?
Yes. Well done, your game. Against Miss Mention, Moscow, 1935. Oh, it's a splendid attack, and I'd completely forgotten it. Well done, General.
Thank you.
Philip, is Arthur all right?
Yes, he's fine, don't worry. I took him home. He sends his home.
Poor Arthur. They gave him a terrible time, Philip, far worse than I hope you can imagine. It's a long time ago.
Is General Muller a worthy opponent?
Oh, yes, he's a splendid player. This is the real thing, I can assure you. Oh, Arthur would have so enjoyed it, and won. I'm quite certain of it.
What about you?
Well, he's drawn first blood. But, he has a weak middle game. Rather typical German thinking by the book. Actually, I rather like him.
Reinicker's having a field day. He seems to have it well covered.
What will he do if the Commander-in-Chief loses? I wonder what the odds are on that happening. Okay?
I'm not a betting man, sir.
But if you were?
Evens.
Five minutes, please, everybody.
Check.
You will be too much ahead.
No doubt, sir. Very pleased with your champion.
Yes, very. I wonder if you find time to read this.
Yes, of course. Excuse me.
Checkmate.
Yes, thank you. The title goes to a most worthy opponent. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to declare that the contestant from Jersey is the winner of this tournament, Mrs. Gardner. The organising committee decided that this being unusual both in circumstance and manner, and really because we had little alternative, that the award should be in kind, most likely to be appreciated by the winner. Not a clock, not a cup, not even a rosette, but 1 full pound of real coffee, given by 2 anonymous donors. May you and your husband enjoy it with all our heartfelt pride and sense of achievement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come in.
You wish to see me, Herr Oberst?
I sent for you, Sturmbannführer Reiniger, because of that. Assume it's true.
The purpose...
I can guess the purpose. You have threatened and attempted to suborn a civilian upon a trumped-up matter. Not only is the prestige of the German army involved, it also concerns the honor and dignity of the military commander. Thanks to the debacle, your journalists have nothing to report. I can therefore contain the matter and try to play it down. I only hope that Dr. Martell has a stronger sense of fair play than you seem to have. He might absolve the rest of us from your own peculiar set of values.
I regret the embarrassment, Herr Oberst, but in war there is no such thing as a game.
Thank you, you may go.
Herr Oberst,